talking about being picked on defense, this has been a false narrative on this player's name.
It has so far this year.
And he has taken a leap defensively.
He has.
It's Alperen Sengun, who was named Player of the Week. Last year, he was the youngest Houston Rocket to ever be named Player of the Week. Last year as well, he averaged 21, 13, and 9, 1.7 steals, 1.7 blocks per game. And I feel
box
like
score guy when it comes to the stocks.
No, it's funny because
because when I say that about
The
Wemby,
Lucas shit was crazy last.
that's why I actually said it.
But defensively, he was engaged. I'll give him that. That's
because
all I asked for from Luka.
He played good defense last playoffs outside the finals.
Oh yeah, the biggest fucking spot of his career.
Yeah, when his knee was he couldn't walk right.
Wait, his knee was fine in the WCF.
Exactly.
He got some time off, and then it got worse for the finals.
How much time was off for the NBA finals realistically?
Between the finals and the WCF, bro, it was like
long.
9 days.
It was long as fuck, actually.
Yeah.
Sometimes things get worse over time. They do.
With rest?
I think it was just knowing Jaylen Brown was coming and having
some
to
things
guard
get
him.
worse, but no, Alperen Sengun, the one knock that you can use against them with how the Rockets are performing is that you can talk about the depth. You can talk about the offensive rating not being top 10, right? But I find it very odd that same energy is not used for other players. The Magic last year made the playoffs off the strength of their defense. Paolo Banchero is heralded as a young up-and-coming star, as he should be.
Why do you find new ways to shit on Paolo?
I'm not shitting on Paolo. I'm saying as it should be. With Alperen Sengun, there's just so much nitpicking that goes on with his game. He's
disagree.
a great rebounder. He's one of the most refined post scorers in the league. He is one of the 3 best playmakers at the big position. And I could say, like, amongst all NBA players, he is a great passer. He's a great playmaker. That's what he is.
He is.
And now he's taken a leap defensively where the instincts and the IQ are there. He's blocking shots from the weak side. I saw this one on Case and Wallace, and I said, wow. You know, there's also a narrative that he only abuses weak centers. I seen him play well against Isaiah Hartenstein and Rudy Gobert, 2 all-world defensive centers. And Sengun was getting the better of them.
What did he do against Wemby?
He dropped 40 against him last year.
Last year. Who cares? Last year's last year.
I just don't understand why whenever it comes to Sengun, he has the Rockets as the 2nd seed in the West.
cooking.
Whenever it comes to Sengun, it's always a hesitancy. Maybe he's not as good as we think he is. No, he is that good. You're underrated Sengun. Sengun is a young star. He is somebody that should be talked about as a rising star. Instead, whenever the Rockets do well and they win and they clinch an NBA group game, Jalen Green's on the front cover.
Because he's the most marketable, because he's the coolest.
But Sengun is the guy.
He is.
And he doesn't get recognized as it. And for some reason...
He did just get recognized.
I know, but I'm saying for some reason there's just this belief that no, like really the best player on the Rockets is actually Amen Thompson one day. Oh, it may be Jalen Green. No, it's Alperen Sengun. This is the guy. He is a star.
Is he a top 20 player?
I think Alperen Sengun's gonna push for it at the end of the year.
Okay, thank you for really. If you would have said yes, I might have had an aneurysm.
Right now, he's an all-star though. He's an all-star.
Say top 25 right now.
Fuck, I don't know. Is he better than Mobley? I'm asking.
It's
because if
I'll
you're
take
telling,
Mobley, but
all right, then we're out of top 25. I don't think Mobley's top 25. Are you taking Paolo or Sengun?
I'll still take Paolo.
We're not in top 25.
Who's better, Siakam or Sengun?
I'm taking Siakam.
Ooh.
I think I'll go Sengun.
But what? What are we doing when it comes to Pascal?
I think that's close.
Pascal is a great playmaker. He's a great.
Sengun.
I would probably take Siakam, but I don't think that's a clearing.
No, I don't think it is either. A better playmaker. Like Pascal's been a great playmaker.
Listen, Alperen Sengun
He's the hub, though.
is
Sengun.
what?
He is.
Sengun is what? 22 years old right now?
No, he's still a baby.
He's one of the youngest. He's not even Charizard yet. He's
amazing.
Charmander.
But that's why let's not push him immediately into top 25. Let's not do that because we tried to do that with J-Dub last year.
Just trying to see how nasty.
Take it easy. And that's what I respected. I want to see where his head was at too.
Yeah.
But you averaged damn near a triple-double this week. You go 3-0 perfect. You're the number 1 team in the West in the group stage. They've been fantastic.
Beat OKC.
The only centers better than Alperen Sengun right now are Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, Victor Wembanyama, Karl Anthony Towns.
Are we counting AD?
Anthony Davis,
Yes.
yes, he plays center. Power forward center. He's always been
Domantas
that.
Sabonis.
Yeah, Domantas Sabonis. I can hear the argument.
And now he shoots the 3 ball. You ask him to get better at something, he didn't.
I can hear the argument for Sengun over Sabonis because I do think that Sengun's offensive post game is more refined than Sabonis, and I do think
Who's a better playmaker?
I think Sengun's a
I
better
also think
playmaker.
Sengun.
I think he makes
He's
more
triple
I think he's better
difficult passes.
passer.
I hate you guys for
No,
really
I think he makes
taking
more
that into
difficult
account.
passes.
This
No,
DHO
but
fucking
I can
merchant.
hear Sabonis over Sengun. But this is gonna be a hot take. I think Alperen Sengun right now. If you're telling me to take him between Bam and Adebayo, I'm taking Sengun.
Well, Bam's having a terrible season.
Oh, I know. He's shooting like 40% on layups.
Yeah, I think 48. I think he's at like 49% true shooting.
He's an amazing.
It's really, really
he's an
nasty.
amazing defensive player. But at this point in time, we have to wonder if he's ever going to improve that offensive repertoire.
This is also a bad offensive season for Bam. It's not like Bam was on this upward trajectory where he was going to be like one of the best offensive centers, but this is also just a really bad year for Bam. If there's any year to do it, it's this year.
I don't disagree. I thought I saw a lot of improvement year to year. Well, let me say, he improved offensively.
Yeah.
Great playmaker. I think he was doing a great job being more aggressive as a scorer. He had that elbow jumper really knocked down to his science. This season, we really haven't seen it at all.
Luke Cornett was blocking him left and right the other night. That shit was getting nasty. Shout out to Alpi though. That big win over OKC a couple nights ago.
said I'm here.
Yeah, what he's been doing has been crazy. I think defensively is the number one most important thing for him because in the offseason, my biggest question was when you paid him, knowing who Ime is, knowing his culture and how he wants to run his team, are you going to be able to have a franchise center who's a bad defender or even an average to below average defender? The fact that he's been able to completely flip that narrative, not only narrative, just real numbers wise, when you're looking at EFG, when you're looking at maybe even some of the box score numbers like blocks, he has been an objectively good defender this season. That's not just some narrative that Rockets fans or Joel, because he's an LP guy, are trying to spew out there. He has been a positive for this Rockets team who, when you look at some other stars, young stars on their team that also got a contract extension, hasn't put in that same type of work, right?
Who we talking about?
What I'm waiting for?
JG.
You know what I'm waiting for? I'm actually waiting for Alperen Sengun to be more assertive offensively.
I don't disagree
It's
here.
not going to happen because of the depth that the Rockets currently have on their roster. And I know the baby Jokic comparisons always get thrown out there. Nikola Jokic, when the Nuggets made the playoffs and they lost in the second round to the Blazers in 7 games, that year Jokic averaged 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. And that was in his 5th season in the league. And then the very next year he took a jump to 26 a game. There was some injuries on the Nuggets, and that's why he had to up his scoring load. Alperen Sengun is at those numbers right now that Jokic was in his 5th year in the league. And I'm looking for Sengun. Obviously, Jokic became an MVP level player because the scoring and the efficiency followed after that season. I'm looking for Sengun to take another leap in his scoring. Finish better around the basket because right now he's a below average finisher for his position. I'm looking for him to finish at an elite level around the basket. I'm looking at him to just refine his game a little bit more. And if he can ever get to the point that he's averaging 25 a night with what he offers as a rebounder, with what he offers as a playmaker, we're talking about a special player.
We are.
And I don't think Sengun is that far off from that.
Jokic just shoots, like 70 plus percent at the rim.
Oh, I know.
That's just a high bar to claim that a lot of dudes aren't doing.
Baby Jokic is fine. You call him the poor man's Jokic. That's what I did with Sabonis. You can do that with Sengun. He'll never reach the heights of Jokic, and that is okay. The heights of Jokic,
most NBA players won't.
100%. There are maybe 10 people, maybe 11, 12 that have reached the heights of Jokic so far. Jokic is that level of special. But I don't disagree with what your sentiment is. But a lot of what you said right now is why we can't put him in the top 25. He still does need refinement as an offensive player. And that is his best trait. And he's come a long way defensively, no doubt about it. You have to give him that acknowledgement and that recognition this season, most definitely. But the fact that he's still averaging 20 and he could still be better on the offensive side, that's what can leave you optimistic to think, hey, the sky's the limit for this kid.
Absolutely. I would rather him take the leap he's taken defensively right now. And he's sitting here at 22 years old. You can already see when you watch him play, the offensive skill is there. It's borderline natural for him, especially as an offensive hub.
So let me ask you a question. Is his ceiling higher than Paolo's?
Paulo Banchero's? I think they're around the same.
What does Sengun do better than Paolo not rebounding?
I think he's a better playmaker than him.
Paolo is pretty great at playmaking.
I
I
know
won't
he's a great
disagree.
passer.
I won't disagree.
I think that Sengun's a better passer.
That's tough for me. Paolo is basically better than him everything else offensively.
All Sengun needs is for the Rockets to be in the playoffs and for him to have an extraordinary playoff series. What Paolo did was historic, and that's why we're regarding him as a young star, a superstar that could get there. And why Sengun, he's kind of like pushed to the back of that line. Because when we think about young stars in the league, we think about Paolo first. Now Franz Wagner is coming onto the scene, and we think about him. I saw the list that ESPN put out, and Franz Wagner was number 4, I believe,
hated it.
over Sengun. You know, I'm looking at Sengun and players around his same age and how all of them get talked about compared to him. And he gets the shortest end of the stick, even though he's producing similarly.
Like, why do you go the extreme
I think
route,
that'll
Paolo?
end, though. I think because you got to think, last year you talked about the Magic. The fact they made the playoffs, Paolo was as great as he did. That's going to shoot him up and be the number 1 overall pick, of course. Franz, what he has been doing this year, God forbid he did it last time against the Knicks, get the Celtics into the goddamn NBA Cup, but had a stinker. What he's been able to do in Paolo's absence is going to shoot him up the board. The fact that the Rockets, who last year did go on a run at the end of the season, made a push for the play-in, but the fact that they've been out of the playoffs for the last couple of seasons, they've been a rebuilding team. Sengun hasn't had that same spotlight on him that these other players have, specifically on the Magic. So if he goes, I mean, right now the Rockets are top 2 seed in the West,
Yes.
number 2, number 3, just beat OKC in the NBA Cup. They're probably going to make the playoffs this season. They're taking that type of leap. After this season, I think he's going to get the respect that we're giving him now, and the national media will follow suit.
And he's 2 years behind because his rookie season and his second season, he wasn't a focal point of the offense. Steven Silas just looked at him as an afterthought. He wouldn't play him a ton of minutes. He would bench him at the worst times possible. He wasn't pushing Sengun to be the best version of himself. Ime Udoka has been harsh on him at times as a coach for his betterment, but as soon as Ime Udoka got to the Rockets, I think it is pretty clear, at least to me, it's pretty clear that he signaled that, okay, I know that I have all these talented players on the team that are young and have potential, but Sengun's the best one. There's a reason why Chauncey Billups, after they faced the Rockets, he said your rebuild accelerates when you have a player like Sengun take the leap that he has taken. Like, Ime went into that situation and said, Sengun is our guy. He's the best player, and he has played the offense. The offense has ran through him, and he has encouraged him to be that.
Yeah.
And that's something that he did not have in his first 2 seasons, where Paolo goes to the Magic, first overall pick. You're the guy. Even though Franz had an amazing rookie year, you're the guy. Like, we're giving, you're the face of this franchise. You're getting all these opportunities, and that's something that Sengun didn't get. He just needs a moment. But once he gets a moment, people will start catching on to how special he is as a player.